Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
All right, welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Oh, yeah, hello. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast for your Friday, big old weekend. Going to be going on. There's so many activities that you can check out. We got them all posted for you at kvjshow.com. That e-blast goes out on Fridays, too. If you don't get it, jump on it. Some of the biggest moments from KVJ are on that every single week as well. You just have to give us your email address. Go to kvjshow.com. It's on the right-hand side of the page.
And a blood sample.
Yes. It's nice, easy, almost painless. Let me see here what we have going on here today. I know yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. Junior Jaybird, sounded like you both celebrate. Virginia, you're actually in a Mexican restaurant.
I was tearing it up.
Did you get because I'm really on a big nacho and queso kick, because there's this queso I've been buying at Publix. It's like $4. It's in this big old jar, and it's restaurant-style queso. And then I get the restaurant-style tortilla chips and baby cakes. I am liking it.
Yeah, you know me. I always order double queso, which I
Yes.
did last night. We had the chips. They make their own salsa there, and it is so good. I love lots of onions and greenery, and I like a thick salsa, and theirs is. And it's not finely diced either. It's like chunky. I like it chunky.
And if the good people that listen to the program know a good queso to get store-bought style, please let me know, because there's only 2 or 3 versions at the Publix that I'm going to. I want to explore different kinds, because the one that's in the chip aisle, the one that's from Tostitos, that's some bullshit. We don't want that kind of queso.
I mean, Tijuana Flats has a great one to go.
It does. No, you're right. I mean, restaurants I know about.
Right.
I'm talking about when I'm at home.
In the store.
And I don't want to have to wait and order. I want some nachos at that moment.
Yeah.
What can I break into?
Yeah, you know, it's the Queen and I, we do a lot of Mexican. She is Mexican herself. And to me, I just don't feel like we have the place that has it all together. You know, there's certain things or certain dishes we like at one restaurant, but going in, to me, there's a couple elements. It's, you know, the main entrees. It's the chips and salsa. And then for my wife, she likes the margaritas. And so I got to tell you, when it comes to chips and salsa, a lot of the authentic places, I just don't love them. And maybe it's not authentic, but Rocco's Tacos to me has the best chip salsa. And if you get their guac that they do, that to me is the best combo of all that kind of stuff. And their menu items are really good as well. But, you know, I don't know the true authenticity of some of them.
You need to come to the Cuesta. Go to Rancho Chico and then tell me what you think, because it was really good and it's really authentic. It's not fancy. This place, it looks like they haven't remodeled since the 80s.
Somebody had texted in earlier and they said that it's like Tex-Mex. It's not really authentic Mexican. Yeah.
It is. It's Tex-Mexy, but
Yeah.
I think you'll find great stuff on there.
Yeah, they said if you want the Mexican, there's a place in Indiantown, they said, that is the place to go to get like true
It feels close.
authentic Mexican. It's not too far, but yeah, it's not like down the street. So it's a little 20-minute jaunt out the beeline, basically, from West Palm. We go to Torero's a lot, and that's solid. I don't necessarily love their salsa. It's not great. The Queen loves their margarita, and their items are pretty good. And I don't know, you know, I'm not Mexican, so I can't rank the authenticity, but she loves getting the menudo.
I was a fan of Torero's. I do like
Yeah.
their stuff. You know, honestly, I'm probably going to get crucified for saying this. Chips and salsa that I love, I ain't hating on Chili's, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Chili's is going
doubt.
to get the salty
Yeah.
chips, baby.
I would put them right behind Rocco's for the best. That I like, yeah, them and, believe it or not, Twin Peaks. They do a warm salsa.
Ooh.
And it is just nice. It's kind of more smoky flavored. So a warm, smoky salsa.
I love a smoky salsa.
The Twin Peaks chips and salsa, pretty solid.
Where does the Ralstons and the Sinicki stand on a? Have you seen that pineapple salsa? They got all kind of like pineapple, different kinds. They got a peach salsa. I've tried that before.
Okay.
It's a little. It got to be in a mood.
I look at those and I put those in a different category. I call those chutney. And those are great, like a peach chutney. Put that on top of like cheese or cream cheese, and you can dip into that. That is delicious.
Well, it was called salsa, and I see what you mean. It's not an everyday. It's kind of like 69, and it's not going to be every time.
Yeah.
But Friday night, let's fucking 69 pineapple salsa.
Yeah.
Upside down pineapple salsa.
You're right.
Somebody texted in and said, yeah, the El Bodegon Tacos y Tequila, Las Olas Boulevard. I went there because of you after doing the wharf in Fort Lauderdale. Went with the pineapple tacos. Amazing. They loved it. Yeah, and I had even we were down there with my father-in-law, who is 100%. He's all Mexican, pure bloodline. And he liked El Bodegon tacos. In fact, they've got a couple. They've got one in West Palm now. They just opened up the West Palm one, which is right by the fountain on Clematis. They've got them in Miami and a couple in like Fort Lauderdale, and so they're all over the place. They're starting to expand.
You're getting me all hot and bothered for just some kind of Mexican dish of sorts tonight.
Yeah, we the Queen and I, we've been doing Mexican every single week now. The Tacos Al Carbon. Remember where the Palm Beach Ale House used to be?
Yes.
That's now Tacos Al Carbon. That's opened up in the last couple of weeks to months.
I mean, y'all know I've reported on it so many times, but it's still fresh in the brain. When I went to Kevin's cousin's house and they had a fucking taco bar, it mood changer, mood elevator.
Was it in Tijuana Flats? I think
was.
that's where they went. Yeah,
and it was impressive because there were so many bins.
Yeah,
I love I love a lot of bins at a party.
Yeah.
We know, girl. Calm down. Your panties are all wet.
Yeah.
Well, wet with salsa, Richard. Come on, it's Friday.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
I'm feeling it.
I've got leftovers from last night just waiting for me in the fridge when I go
Oh,
home.
isn't that the best? A Friday after
good.
the show when there's no event or nothing to do the next day, leftovers in the fridge is real nice like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. So I didn't get. I was wanting a Mexican fix, didn't get it last night. So hopefully this weekend I'll make it happen.
I'm gonna get my Mexican fix too.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Got an email here from Richard, and he was just curious about speaking Spanish. Want to know about the Mexican Queen. Yeah, she can understand. She grew up around a lot of Spanish because her grandmother would only speak Spanish. She didn't want to taint her mouth with the gringo language. So she stayed away from that. Her dad is fluent in Spanish. My wife can understand a good bit. But yeah, she can't rattle off and speak it. So she always kind of shunned it, and to her father's dismay. He couldn't believe it. And I hear that there's just some Spanish families that are disgusted that their kids just didn't care to learn the native tongue. So she's one of those, and said, I thought Virginia was Spanish. Does she know the language or anybody in her family?
I'm a quarter Mexican, or maybe a little less.
75% which?
My grandmother and my mother speak it. My grandmother when she was alive, and my mom speaks it fluently, but
Okay.
I didn't grow up in a house where we spoke it. My dad didn't speak it, and so my mom didn't really teach us, and it died there.
Okay.
By the way, we have gotten everybody's burrito super wet in the chat room by talking about this Mexican food. I think half the chat room's getting Mexican food
good.
tonight.
It's good. It's
Do
great.
it. Look, if you didn't do it last night, you got a night to make it up.
I agree. I didn't get to really make it happen with the Mexican food last night. And Kevin, poetry over there talking about all of the fucking food.
Oh yeah, no, it's good stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of ginned up for that as well. So many things going on this weekend. In fact, even today, it's No Pants Day today. That's one of the odd little days of observance that is going on. It's National Nurses Day, so shout out to all of our nurses doing great stuff. It's National Space Day, Virginia. Maybe that's why they were launching weird things into the sky.
Oh my gosh.
From SpaceX.
A nurse without any pants floating in space.
Right? There you go.
That looks like a piece of art that you need to create.
That is art.
Another day of observance today. It is Lunch Hero Day, I think is what it is. It's basically a school lunch hero day. So, your cafeteria workers for school.
Oh, I love that.
And we're asking right now on the KVJ Facebook page, what was your favorite school lunch from back in the day?
So bizarre. We opened up the Weird Whatever podcast last night about cafeteria lunches and all the lunches that we've missed. Because Vicky on our show, she's a teacher, and she was talking about, she gives me my skinny on what they have in the public school system.
Yeah.
And it's definitely changed since when we were kids, and I don't know if for the better.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to compare. I always ask my son, Cannon, what he's getting, and they have, it sounds like some kind of like Taco Pocket kind of thing that he really likes. That sounds really good.
About Taco Pockets.
Yeah,
You just gave him a boner.
Yeah.
In my pocket.
He talks about that a good bit. He likes the chicken finger zingers, whatever it is they have. He said those are pretty good, a little spicy too.
They're designed to win. Chicken fingers, tenders, nuggets. They're going to always win in the demographics of age 3 to 25.
My favorite, without a doubt, was the square pizza that we had. It
Yeah.
actually fit perfectly in the trays we had because, each tray had their own little, you had your designation where you could put your cup of fruit here and your milk goes there and the pizza goes there. And
A Mexican pizza, tater tot, chocolate milk combo is heaven in a nutshell.
yeah.
And I was talking...
Beans and milk.
I was talking, it was the 80s, different kind of stomach. We had a thing where you got the salad bar once you got to 4th grade. And I went on a whole thing about it last night, so I apologize for, again, coming on air. But the French salad dressing in the public school system in the 80s was next level.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, on our Facebook page, Julia, she was talking about the French dressing. She had the square pizza with creamy French dressing.
I mean, that's my dream.
Yeah.
She's talking about what I fantasize about.
Yeah.
And then they would have super sliced pizza. That was a big thing. Around 2nd grade, they go, we're going to add another pizza wrinkle, super sliced pizza on Fridays. And that was a big deal. Then they added pepperoni chunks. That was a different thing. All right, calm down.
You're losing your mind.
I didn't sleep well last night.
You can't tell. Tons of energy.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I also did a bump of cocaine off of Denny's shoulder.
There's a couple shout outs for Mexican pizza.
No, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. There's also some shout outs here for the hexagon Mexican pizza. Is that different?
That is the exact pizza I am talking about. The hexagon Mexican pizza, in my opinion, rival your turkey tetrazzini with a fresh cooked bun or fresh baked bun, and it rivaled the super sliced pizza.
Frito Pie. Some people were mentioning that.
That was a little past my time.
Yeah, and this is somebody who went to high school in Texas. I think the Frito Pie, is that the one where they take like the Frito chips and they put like chili meat in it?
Taco in a bag.
Yeah. Okay.
Which they sold when me and Kevin would coach softball, and some of the girls would be loading up on this chili, this bag.
Fart concoction.
It was this big ass knapsack bag.
Light your ass up.
Like, I don't know if you should be eating that right before the big game. You might get the Hershey's squirt.
One of my power hitters I had once in the day, her mom, it was like the thing. They're like, she has to eat 2 massive chili cheese dogs before she plays. And I was like, do you think maybe I make her a little lethargic? They're like, going, no, this is how she hits bombs. And I'm like, all right.
She drops bombs in the toilet.
Yeah.
I shit you not. I was giving a kid a baseball lesson, and his mother had given him his 3rd hot dog. And this is a 45-minute lesson.
He ate 3 hot dogs while he was getting the lesson?
Yes. And then she had the balls to ask me if his weight was a problem with him making the team coming up. I go, well, I think we might have to maybe adjust. And this is coming from me, who loves bad diets. I go, well, he might not want to eat 3 hot dogs during a batting lesson. That's the first thing.
He needs to work in some grilled chicken.
And honestly, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, he was overweight, and he was a very good baseball player, and his weight was getting in the way of it. And the mom asked me, it puts you, I'm like, lady, I'm not making enough to fucking go through all of this shit you're putting me through.
But since you asked,
She did ask.
3 hot dogs during the lesson is excessive,
Well, then
woman.
they're fighting. He doesn't have enough ketchup. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's so annoying.
It was very annoying.
At least you were getting paid.
I was, but I wouldn't say it was great.
Yeah, so those are just some of the observances today, and then into this weekend. You got Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. So that'll be interesting. Bird's mom has passed many years ago. This would be my first Mother's Day without my mom being here. So
How do you feel? Do you feel?
yeah.
Do you feel a little weird?
You know, the odd thing about it, I feel weird because I don't feel a lot, and it's odd to me. I don't know. I still feel like mom's passing still kind of surreal to me.
Like you don't believe it happened?
Well, I mean, it's not even a year yet because it was, I guess, late August when she had passed. And, you know, we would talk a good bit. But, you know, like I had told you, you know, the last year, probably to year and a half of our relationship, she had really gotten into the QAnon stuff. And look, I'm not, you know, a crazy liberal. I always tell you guys, I'm a moderate. I'm somewhere in between. But it was just so much of, you know, and look, you can be as right wing as you want. I don't care. I can tolerate it. You can be as liberal and left wing as you want to be. I can tolerate it. But it was just the crazy conspiracies that she was getting on about how, you know, and really where she was, you know, the vaccine was had this metal in it that they were going to activate through 5G with the phone stuff, and somehow that was going to activate, and it was a big conspiracy to try to thin the population. And I was like, well,
It makes it hard to have a relationship.
yeah, I'm like, you know, I don't know, Mom. I'm like, a lot of these things, that sounds completely crazy. And, you know, just where I was with it was, I said, look, and I'm not one of those people, you know how I was with the vax. I waited a very long time to get it. And if I go back and do it again, I don't know. You know, I think some people, if your doctor's telling you to do it and you should do it, then do it. And my mom's doctor was saying, hey, look, I think you should get this because not only do you have the bronchitis issues and lung issues, but, you know, she was a good bit overweight. And everybody that was getting hard with the COVID, like, this fit into you. And I said, you know, Mom, you would be one of the people. There's a lot of people, yeah, probably getting the vaccine isn't right for them. But I think you should. But yeah, she just wasn't hearing it because she was like, no, because they're gonna one day kill me. I'm like, well, you might die sooner than that if you don't get the damn vaccine. And so, you know, that was kind of tough. So it was weird how it kind of ended. So I don't know where I am, because I remember at one point in my life thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do if my mom's not here, because she always seemed to give me such sound judgment. I would bounce things off of her, especially when I was getting into radio and through my career and just trying to sort it out. She just always seemed to have good advice with stuff. And I'm like, man, if I don't have my mom around to bounce stuff off of. And towards the last year and a half to 2 years of her life, I got to the point I didn't trust her judgment. I just didn't feel like she was of sound mind.
But you felt like she'd been brainwashed.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel guilty about that
Yeah.
or bad about that.
No.
And the other thing you said that sticks out to me, and it's very common, and don't ever beat yourself up for it.
Yeah.
When people pass away, sometimes it's hard to feel things. You want to feel sadder, or you want to
Yeah,
feel
right.
I should be more distraught. That's really not the case for some people. And you'll have your moments when you'll know the right time to feel.
Yeah, there's a
Don't get hung up on
little
that.
bit of guilt, because I'm like, gosh, it's going to be my first Mother's Day without my mom, and I guess numb is probably the best way to it.
Just know that you're not the only person to go through that. I've had bouts of that when someone's passed away that I cared about, and you're not crazy. You're not cold-hearted.
Yeah.
It's just the way some people process it. You'll know the right time when to feel something.
Yeah.
But also know this, too. You're not the only guy who is mourning the loss of a parent that had been brainwashed. There's a lot of people. I was listening to a podcast this week, and it's these people that are like stunned that they lost somebody in their family to COVID. It was somebody that didn't believe in COVID,
Yeah.
that wouldn't get the vaccine, that, you know, like your mom went to the hospital, denied the medications, or waited too long to go to the hospital, and by then they couldn't help them. There are so many people that are just kind of like, wow, what just happened? Because COVID was the one thing that their family member didn't believe was real, and COVID took them out.
That's why all this stuff, it really annoys me, and it's so dangerous. It makes me, you know, I don't vocalize it much, but it makes me so angry that people are taking legitimate information and they're just spinning it and politicizing it. And
Yep.
I'm so angry with our two-party system, and I really blame a lot of that stuff. That if we could have had frank discussions about this vaccine and what was going on and who it was right for, my mom might have been like, yeah, you know what? Okay, I'm better off riding this vaccine because my chances for death if I get COVID are maybe 80% you're going to die if you get it. If you get this vaccine, and, there's the Johnson & Johnson story about the blood clots, but still 20%. So I don't know anything was ever, hey, this is completely perfect.
Right.
COVID was that.
The weird thing, too, is you're talking about it being politicized. Any hot topic now has become where it's choosing sides and it's politicized. It's very odd. Radio and being in the media and doing all this stuff was never like that. It wasn't always like that. There would be if a major celebrity scandal came out, which probably with the Amber Heard thing you could do. I'm already seeing it being politicized. People are using it in odd ways for their own gain, and it seems like that's happening with all of any kind of buzz topic that's out there in the media.
Yeah, they grab it and they spin it
and they make it to their own.
And then all of a sudden you can't talk about so many great subjects that you should, because I like to keep an open mind in conversations and learn. And my opinions are always shaped by having great conversations with people on whatever side you're on, that I pick something up. And then the more conversations you have, the more you're like, this just feels more right to me. And then it kind of helps you stand on more firm ground about making choices. But when everybody's yelling and you're so worried about pissing people off, it's tough. And then you wind up in a situation where I couldn't even talk to my mom about this stuff. And a big part of me, I felt guilty. Like I wish I could have done more to help her out, but I don't know what else I could have done.
She wouldn't have heard you.
Yeah.
And that guilt that you have, it's a wasted emotion. It's nothing that I would let that part go if you can.
I'm good at doing that, and I have for the most part, because when I was in it, I would say to myself, Kevin, there's a solid chance if your mom actually gets COVID, it could take her out. And so when I would call her, I would prepare to be like, how can I talk to her calmly and rationally about these crazy ass things she's going to throw at me? And I would send stories back to her and some research. But she always had anything that, no matter what source it came from, she'd be like, oh, there are known liars. Oh, there are known liars. There wasn't any source anywhere that you could get, whether it be CDC, World Health Organization, any doctor, any this or that. No, everybody was incredible.
Everything you're feeling is all normal.
Yeah.
All of it is.
Yeah. So, I can go through Mother's Day. I don't think it's going to be a day of sadness for me. I think it's going to be a day where, hey, remembering the good times and thanks for what you did. She was always a great source for common sense. And she planted in me, too, my moral code and, through the religion. And she kind of threw wackadoodle religion at me at times, but through all that, I was able to shape out. So I'm very appreciative for what she did give me.
I think it's a very common emotion for people to think back and say, oh, I could have done this better. I had guilt with my mom. I had guilt with Aunt Ann. Hell, I had guilt with Chewy. I think it's just part of being a human. When someone passes on, you look back in retrospect and go, I could have done this, I could have done that. But honestly, if you believe it, they're at peace.
Yeah.
They're not all pissed off at you. So let it go.
Yeah. I mean, I do think about that. My mom should be with people that she loves and in a great place. And
if that's what you believe, then your mom ain't mad about that. You know what I mean?
So if, her belief system was right, then she's, and it's all good. It's all good.
Do you still talk to like her sister? Because I know her and her sister were in the QAnon together.
Yeah.
And kind of pumped each other up. And
the Colonel.
The Colonel seems like she's been brainwashed too. Do you talk to her?
Yeah, we don't, not about that stuff though. She had just texted me. She had her and my mom had gone to Europe years ago, and she had gone through the photos. She's sending me that. And so she'll text here and there about that. I also have a cousin that lives outside of Atlanta that had kind of been grouped into, and I think the three of them were very much just kicking around all the conspiracy stories. And so, I still talk. I think they know.
I hope that they know, and I hope that they say, man, we were wrong.
But the problem is,
Yeah,
who
I
gives
don't
a
know.
shit? Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they feel about that because I don't even want to kick up the conversation with them.
A lot of times you're not going to change, especially people at a certain age. They believe what they want to believe. I mean, Aunt Ann, you try to change her thinking, it ain't going to fucking happen, man.
Yeah.
People
Well,
are stuck in their ways.
It just, there are some people, I found a couple people now, and I'm very happy about it, that I can sit and have great conversations with. And they're not like and they're not radical, crazy ideas. They present their viewpoint from the right or from the left. And it's logical stuff. And I think about it, and really, I'm like, okay, great. And that helps me to nudge, and my own perspective, bounces and shifts a little bit. And I love being able to have those conversations. Like, there's 2 fucking people that I know I can do that with. Everybody else comes so
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yelling.
Then
Mad.
I'm just like, gosh, this sucks, man.
It's clearly the 2 people, it's me and Virginia, clearly.
Because I have so many political conversations with you.
Well, the other thing, too, is you don't want to, I don't know if you want to listen to a show where everybody agrees, oh, Kevin, you're right. No, Virginia, you're right. Well, I think you're right, Jay Bird. That's lame.
Boring.
That is boring.
We need some spice up in here.
No, it is nice to be able to have any kind of conversation where they are, tougher conversations and topics to have, but everyone keep their shit together.
Yeah, absolutely. Because unfortunately, there's just so many topics that people just because they're tired of the fighting, I don't blame them. They don't want to even go into, but they're very valid topics, that are very valuable.
People always are going to struggle with matter of the heart topics. If it's a matter of the heart topic and you really believe to the core that you're right and that's the right thing to do for humanity,
Sure.
and someone's telling you you're wrong, good fucking luck trying to have a kumbaya conversation with a lot of people.
It's too bad. It's too bad because it helps me to form my own opinions by being able to have sensible conversations with people who are knowledgeable on a subject.
I'd watch a Kevin TED Talk. A Kevin Ralston TED Talk?
Yeah, I think we watch it every day.
Oh, yeah.
Would you watch a Jay Bird Bread Talk?
I actually would. And then I would want to just go get some carbs so bad.
Oh, I would make you, just like how Kevin made us all want to eat Mexican food,
Yeah.
I'm going to make you want to go get some bread in your mouth.
Oh, with some butter. Nothing better.
Fuck, I think I have to have a Mexican/bread day.
You worked yourself up into bread.
All it took was you to talk about butter.
Oh, good butter makes me happy.
Here is a mom that is trying to decide how she should handle her daughter's desire to be an OnlyFans model. She said, my daughter's almost 20. She has a huge following on social media, and she asked me if I'd be okay with her having an OnlyFans. I said no at first, but then I started thinking if it was me back in the day and people were paying just to follow me, I would definitely do it. Would you allow your daughter to do an OnlyFans? Virginia and Kevin, I'm talking to you to see what you would do in this situation. And she said, and by the way, I said absolutely no nudes.
Oh, I mean, that's what they all say in the beginning, Kev. But I mean, that's just we all know that's the beginning chapter.
Yeah.
That's how they hook you.
Well, on OnlyFans, too, they private request you things, and you can grant those requests by unlocking things, and they pay for you to grant requests.
Yeah.
Like Nicki Minaj was talking about, like, all these people, or somebody was talking, all these people pay her to see her feet. Like 8,000 people will send her a request for her feet. She'll take one video of her feet, send it to all of them, and charge each of them $29.95.
Look, there are some people out there that really get turned on by the whole. I always call it hired gun. You're paying to play. You pay to play. It for me, it's a big turnoff. If you're paying for it, I'm just like, oh, you're not really into it,
Right.
But I know somebody that they said they had to delete certain things out of their apps because they were spending so much money. I guess there's a chatterbait, it's called, and the way he was describing it, it sounded like somebody talking about heroin. He goes, I had to get off of it. I guess you pay and they do things for you. I've heard of chatterbait. I don't know all of the things that go behind it, but he had a problem with it. He said, I'm spending way too much fucking money on it.
Yeah.
It turns some people on.
It does. And, that's just it. I think with all those things, you have to watch. And there's hey, look, I look at the OnlyFans model, and there's a lot of things very attractive with it, with how much money you can make without putting forth a lot of work. There are the downsides of, sometimes these people, you got unhinged people that they just can't separate what this is, and they try to hunt you down. There's 2 cases I know already. One where a guy was blown away on his daughter's doorstep when a guy got too far and tried to stalk, and they will. I mean, these people have nothing but time, and they have a sickness.
Yeah.
And they were crossing state lines to come and try to find these OnlyFans models. That's 2 cases I know of specifically, and I'm sure there are more that didn't hit the media.
I think a lot of people who watch a ton of porn that are always on, and they're always on the computer. I'm not a person that's against porn, but I think you can watch way too much.
Big time.
Get desensitized. It's the number one common thing I've seen on all of those videos, Predator videos me and Denny's watch, and there's so many channels of them now out there to the point where you go, there's a big problem with people. They watch a fuck ton of porn, and there's usually a drug involved. Drugs, porn, and you're doing nothing else in your life.
They've done brain scans on people that excessively watch porn. It starts to change your brain over time.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
Like anything, it's powerful.
It is. It's one of those things. There's a lot of things in that yellow light category where it's like, okay, hey, I'm not saying this is the devil and stay away from. You got to make your own choices, but these are the kind of things where you've got to have caution and realize it's kind of like handling a snake. I would never do it, and it's kind of like that snake handler that died from the rattlesnake bite last weekend. That's in the yellow category. It could, at one point, it could be beautiful and lovely and thrilling, but at the wrong moment, it could easily lurch out and end your life.
Well, it's kind of like some people are wired where they could watch porn every single day 3 times, and it's not going to affect their life. Some people couldn't handle it. I think everyone's going to be different. Virginia can have more drinks than this person, and vice versa. It's just everyone, when it comes to vices, it hits people different. And some people, it can hit really hard.
Yeah, if this were my daughter and I was dealing with the OnlyFans stuff, look, my daughter's now 24, so I'm at the point now where you make your own decisions. But they will come to you and they will ask you for advice and what you think. And I would just say, you got to understand where your moral code is set. I gave my kids the same kind of foundation that I was given when I was a kid. And I would just look at it, and there's like little nuggets that I will kind of pump back at them to remind them. Be like, hey, this money is attractive. There are some things there. What starts to violate your conscience? What starts to feel weird to you? And you're like going, I don't know if I should be doing that. I said, you got to listen to those voices. When they come up in your life, when you ignore them, that's when you step into peril. And they're there for a reason. There is a voice that speaks to you, that tells you.
Kevin.
And I would say, look, the money may speak loudly, but there's one verse out of the Bible that always stands out to me, and it says, what good will it be for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? And I would just say, remember that when you're doing this.
Show them titties. I heard the voice.
Yeah. So it's which voice do you listen to? Some of them are the good, some of them are the bad.
Damn.
And you got to recognize which voice you're listening to and what voice you're following.
And be self-aware, too. Like, I don't think some kids could do it. Even if they would love the money, mentally, they couldn't handle. And that's not their personality.
And not everyone wants to see everybody on OnlyFans. Some people, to Virginia's point, you got to be a little honest with what's out there in the market. If you've been doing OnlyFans for 2 years and you've only made $50, we might want to.
Them goodies might not be good, so good.
They might not be the goodies we want.
Yeah. So that would be probably just the conversation that I would have with my daughter, and I'd leave it at that. So whatever you think is going to be right for you, you got to make that, because, look, we got to make our own mistakes.
And can she handle it mentally, too? I mean, she's got to know this is going to be very tricky mentally.
You're right. Well, if I had a kid, if I ever did have a kid, I think social media is going to be around. I almost feel like there needs to be a social media class. Anything online, I would want to make sure they're mentally ready. I think the internet fucks people up, dog.
You're right.
It does. All that is really tough. From mental health to everything else that does it, and that's why I'm like, just watch. The one thing, life can get away from you super fast, can it?
Oh, yeah.
Things
Yeah.
can spin out of control in a heartbeat. That's why I try to keep everything kind of in balance, because I realize how fast things can get away from you.
Especially on the internet.
Oh, yeah,
Shit
no
fucking
doubt.
turns around
Yeah,
real quick.
the way it is today.
Not any of the videos that I work on, but
You're-
yeah, it can
yeah.
fucking get out there.
Your whole life can easily spin out. That's why we got so many people in rehab and seeking out, therapists and everything else, because it can spin out of control before you know it. So hopefully that helps you out, Mama. Ever wanting advice, you can send us that email, mail@kvjshow.com. We'll let you know what we would do, which for me, a lot of times I give the wrong advice to my kids,
But, you know-
I'm doing what I can.
What is wrong?
Every
Yeah.
kid is different. I mean, you
That's
have
it.
to assess your kid and assess your relationship, and can the both of you handle it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And just know they eventually all go bottomless.
Oh, you think it's just about showing them titties? And
It
it's,
ain't.
it's always about
on National Pantsless Day, this is what we're dealing with.
the witch is right, man.
Yeah.
Those lips always come out.
It may
That's
not
it.
come out right away, but the clam will come out.
There's always, oh yeah, you go get ham on the clam.
All right, y'all. You have an amazing weekend. Happy birthday, Bird, early.
Ham and clam, by the way, is a nice pairing.
That
Yeah.
came out wrong.
That's a delicious a
Be an
pairing.
interesting dish.
Oh, ham and clam.
I can make it for you.
All right, y'all. Have a good weekend.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.